This is Gary Marr from Window Community College. This screen capture is for my CIS 150AB online students. And what I want to show you in this screen capture is a more complete program of the checkbook processing program with inheritance and also written in Python, where Python takes advantage of everything from private instance variables to more robust checking of sets and gets. So let's look at this one. I don't want you guys to panic when you see it. There's a lot more to this program, but this is one simply written in Python as opposed to the one that I talked about earlier, which was pseudocode. So let's go through this one real quick. First of all, it's got two classes. One is called person. One is called checkbook. And the idea here is that person, which has variables called name and date of birth, is also needed by checkbook. So rather than checkbook having its own copy of name and date of birth, it's going to inherit from its parent name, date of birth, and all the sets and gets that go with that particular set of data items or properties. So down here, checkbook has its own set of DASA, deposits and checks, and also has what's called a constructor. And this is a more of a object-oriented term. You guys will run into this in all of your programming classes. But essentially what a constructor does is that when the object is first instantiated, it runs a special method called a constructor that sets the default variables. Okay, so in this case, it's going to set a variable for deposit and set a value for check, okay, based on how that method's instantiated. You'll see that a little bit lower in the program. So that's the data items. I still have my method. Now, for current balance, you'll see a self and an underscore before and after the variables, the instance variables. This is because these are private, which is a way for me in Python to prevent anybody from changing these values except the class itself. Anybody on the outside that calls one of these methods is going to have to use the data that's stored within the class that I, as the designer of the class, have strict control over. If we move down here a little bit farther, you'll see there we are. There's the underscore deposits underscore inval is what's being sent. This one doesn't have as robust a checking as I thought it did. I've got some other examples that I'll try to leave out there greater than 0. The same thing would be to attract checks. ToString is just a little helper routine that would display date of birth. I'm going to leave ToString alone for now. If you take a class in Java or C#, you'll hear more about ToString as you get into the course itself. Here we go with our first instantiation of checkbook. It's going to instantiate a checkbook with the name of CB. That's the variable. Notice how it's passing the value of 10 and 5. This is used by the constructor to set the initial state of the class object. So rather than going out there and saying CB equal checkbook and then Gary set deposits is 10 and set checks is 5, it's going to call a constructor. And up here in the constructor, you'll see it accepts two inputs, deposits and checks. Then it's going to set those private instance variables to be those values. So it's kind of a quick way of getting that initial object with some base initialized values, in this case 10 and 5. This one's going to use the name property, and name comes from my parent, and I'm going to set it the same way I would for checkbook, except it's going to go through checkbook to find a parent, and there's a set name method up here under my parent, right there. It's going to use that to set parent, set name, and let's see, a little lower, we're going to do the same kind of deposits and check calculations. We're not going to do anything with two objects on this particular example. We're only using one object, instantiated CB, but this is a more official Python program. You could run this one in Python with a debugger and it would walk you through all of the lines. It would follow the sequence of how the statements are called, and you could look at the identifier values as you run it. Hope that helps, and if I can do some more of these, I will.